What's going on at Longines? Why are they suddenly awesome? And is there something in the water at the company? Let's begin. For the past 18 months, we've seen watch brands try to establish themselves as the next big watch brand in your collection. Take any brand and look at their recent releases. The watches are mostly new references and they've been designed to get your attention. Oris releases the ProPilot X and actually have a Kermit model, wink wink. We then see the Moon swatches and the set of colourful 50 fathoms from Swatch. The PRX from Tissot is eye-catching in any variation and in gold. Then there's IWC. The Pilot range comes in a variety of colours, materials, and now there's even a sports edition in titanium. But there's one brand that's been rising, one brand that did the work. Reference after reference, Longines has been smashing it, and Longines is rising. But why? I'm not exactly sure if there's anything in the water at Longines, but they deserve our attention and appreciation. It's done something only a few brands have been able to do: become interesting. But before we take a look at where they are now, let's remember where they were before. If you grew up in the 80s, 90s and 2000s, Longines for the past 30 years was usually seen as a department store brand. Glossy, dressy watches for him and for her. While the watch world saw quartz watches, dive watches, oversized watches and fashion watches come and go, the rise of sports watches and watches with complications, Longines never seemed to enter any of those conversations and instead stayed somewhat the same for 30 years. Change was slow, design choices were uneven. When watch collectors talk about brands, they rarely mention any of the latest references from Longines. They do, however, reference the historical models and the fact that Longines is one of the oldest brands in the world. So that's a bit of the background. Longines was fine, inoffensive, modern watches that rarely stirred any interest. But that was then. For the past few years, Longines started to get serious. In October 2019, there was a watch that changed my perception of the brand. Dipping its design brush back into the brand's history, they released the Heritage 1945, the Legend Diver, Skin Diver, and Chronograph. But in October, they released a watch that took things further. For me, that was the Heritage Classic Sector Dial. Sector Dial almost always works well in watches. The geometric design is flattering and serves a purpose. There's so much to appreciate here. This watch is just a modernization of a previous watch, so they didn't have to dig deep to create something new. But they still took a chance on making it, and it did three things. It showed Longines wanted to produce good watches. It showed Longines was serious about referencing its heritage. It also showed a trend for making good watches. So there was a chance that every future release could actually be this good or better. And that's exactly what happened. This historic brand has since been releasing inspiring watches. The Silver Arrow was another inspiring release. With an Art Deco aesthetic, it reimagines the original design from 1956. Then there's the Longines Conquest, a much more focused design compared to their other sports watches. The time and date version is a favourite, featuring crown guards. And the Chronograph is an absolute beast, especially in the black and champagne dial. Extra points if you manage to source the limited edition Odomat in blue. But the watches that really confirmed Longines' new design effort was here to stay was the release of the still incredible Spirit line. These set of watches in a range of sizes, materials and functions showed Longines have a firm grasp of their history in aviation. And they were making watches not only for casual customers, but for watch collectors. Longines deserves a lot of admiration here. How many times do we look at our favourite brand, sports team, and want them to improve? Longines has done what so many companies are scared to do: take chances, change, and aim for quality. When I start to look at their new releases, I start to consider it as part of my collection. I like the look of their new watches, and they look great, they look fun, and they look durable. This new direction is aimed at enthusiasts and people who appreciate well-designed watches, and not just a watch that tells the time. Big difference. I like 95% of the choices they make with their new releases. The use of materials, the different sizes, the robust and balanced design. For example, look at the old Conquest versus the new Conquest. It's night and day from a design perspective. One is a bit more unbalanced and the other is spot on. So what about the 5%? The stuff that I am not so keen on? Well, there's the 5 stars from the Spirit line. It takes some getting used to. It's a little bit Amazon. And I'm not sure about the use of silicone in their balance spring, but that's a discussion for another video. Overall, we have just witnessed a phoenix moment. This brand wasn't top of any conversations over the past decade, or maybe with the release of the Legend Diver, which serves as a preview of their new direction. Longines has now shed its recent department store image. Longines is back. They've rediscovered their aviation history, their watch heritage, they're focused, and I have a feeling every new release from here will take our admiration to new heights.